On April 30th, Jason Ramon Tirado, a cyclist with the 1999 Journey of Hope North team, passed to the Chapter Eternal from a hiking accident in the North Carolina mountains. Jason had spent this semester coordinating the events of this year's Gear Up Florida team for which he had been named project manager. Jason came to Pi Kappa Phi at the age of 20 in the fall of 1997 as a freshman at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, to which he was pursuing a Bachelor's of Science degree in Management Information Systems. As a first semester freshman, he decided to rush a fraternity right away. And when he learned of Pi Kappa Phi through the fall rush, he accepted a bid from the Brothers of Zeta Epsilon. To his Psi associate class, Jason was known as T-Bird. To his family and friends, he was called Flaquito, a name given to him by his grandmother, which meant Little Gator. He was well liked and respected by his class. From the beginning, the chapter's leadership could see in him innate traits of determination, toughness, and loyalty. It was because of this insight that Jason was given the honor of being the first of his class initiated into Zeta Epsilon number 266. As a newly initiated brother, Jason began contributing to his fraternity immediately. He first served the warden as member education chairman, and the following year he earned his first officer's position when he himself was elected warden. Succeeding to the executive council came naturally to Jason's determination, as he often sought to have a say in how his chapter functioned on a daily basis. It was during his year as warden that Jason began to express interest in the Journey of Hope after hearing many stories from Zeta Epsilon Pi Alphas. For each of the last 5 years to this point, Zeta Epsilon men had completed the Journey of Hope stemming to 1994 when Jeff Armstrong became the chapter's first brother to set the standard for Zeta Epsilon when he participated and completed the 1994 South and 1995 North routes. Inspired by past riders and his chapter's alumni, Jason sought to continue that tradition. In the spring of 1999, he applied and was accepted to the Journey of Hope North team. It was also during this semester that he was elected Archon of Zeta Epsilon. At his election, he was faced with a great task before him for which his toughness and tenacity would be tested. It was his love of fraternity that brought Jason to San Francisco that summer, in a summer that turned out to be everything he'd hoped and more. The Journey of Hope for Jason, like most of the other Pi Alphas who made the journey before him, allowed him to see fraternity and community on a much broader scale. On the road, he befriended and rode with every member of his team, sharing the stories of their home lives and their fraternity as they endured the hardships and joys of cycling 50 to 80 miles a day in 90 to 100 degree weather. Again, he innately relied on his determination and toughness, and along the way he found a deeper meaning in his Pi Kappa Phi experience. He even took the time to get a tattoo of the fraternity's crest on his lower back as an affirmation of the pride and purpose he felt. Jason's purpose was magnified and compounded with each succeeding friendship visit en route. For him, one particular visit left a dramatic and permanent impression for both Jason and one very special little girl. The following is an excerpt of a letter written to the Push America office from a volunteer for the North Team in Grand Island, Nebraska.
My name is Sue Hamilton, and I am one of the parents who helped to sponsor the Push America cyclist when they come through our city each year. We were lucky enough to meet Jason last summer. I'm not sure if he ever mentioned Brittany to any of his friends, but she is our daughter who came to us through foster care when she was 10 weeks old. She is now 5. Brittany has shaken baby syndrome and cannot see. Her father abused her. Brittany doesn't take to strangers well, but when she met Jason, they immediately connected. They spent the entire evening together, and after that we kept in touch with cards and emails. Our last contact with Jason, he was telling us he was very excited that he was coming to Nebraska, and he was going to ride with the Push America guys into Grand Island and spend some time with Brittany. We were all excited that he was going to be able to make it out here again. You know, sometimes in life you are lucky enough to meet a special person that touches your heart. That person to us was Jason Tirado. We could see the first time we met him last July, and we continued to see it in the cards he sent and in the touching gifts that he sent Brittany last Christmas. He truly was an inspiration, and even though we are all hundreds of miles apart, we also feel the loss of a friend.
To the men of his chapter, Jason often spoke of Brittany, and it was clear that that short meeting with her had changed his life and really opened his heart to people with disabilities. For the remainder of the Journey of Hope that summer, and armed with his inspiration from Nebraska to carry him the rest of the way, Jason lived Push America on the road to the fullest. With each letter, email, and telephone call to his family, brothers, and friends, he professed the vitality of the road and each friendship visit and public event with a renewed spirit in Pi Kappa Phi. In one of the many letters Jason penned en route to his family and friends, including his Psi Associate class brother Lloyd Rittner and Lloyd's sister Leslie, whom Jason was dating at the time of his death, Jason promised Leslie he would be riding in the front of the pack at arrival. In Washington, D.C., at Journey's End, he was indeed riding first chair. Jason returned to George Mason University for the fall semester, dedicated to bringing his experience on the road home to Zeta Epsilon. His passion for Pi Kappa Phi, and especially for Push America, proved infectious to his brothers. Through his public advocacy for people with disabilities, many of his brothers attended the Give a Push weekends, push camps, and one of the 2 cycling events that followed that summer. His overwhelming passion inspired the Zeta Epsilon tradition of Push America participation that has lived with each succeeding year. While motivating his chapter at Push America participation, Jason also returned to his high level of activity to include his 3rd consecutive term on Executive Council, this time as treasurer, his academics, his love of soccer, and remarkably, he accepted the responsibility as project manager for the 2000 Gear Up Florida team. Jason's leadership charisma knew no bounds. During the 1999 Fall Rush, in a series of information sessions, he spoke of his chapter's forward progress, his fraternity's success, and his love of Push America. At one of those sessions, he met his future little brother, Andre Arman, who remembered his big brother in these words.
When I attended that Rush session, I really can't tell you I was interested in joining a fraternity or not, but it was during that Rush event that I instantly felt compelled to meet him. Jason spoke last, and his words were inspiring and gave me a feeling that this was someone I needed to know. I went on to join Pi Kappa Phi as a result of that first meeting, and through the process I became Jason's little brother. But if you had asked me then what my ambitions, goals, or priorities were, I don't think I could have answered with a straight face. When I first came to George Mason, I was fresh away from parental supervision and just wanted to have fun. I cannot tell you how Jason changed my total perspective. For me, I believe the most important thing he taught me was accountability. By this, I mean being accountable for your actions and holding others accountable for theirs.
The shock of Jason's passing was felt throughout the Pi Kappa Phi and Push America communities. It is the impact on the people who crossed his path that have made the difference in his legacy. The most distinctive feature associated with Jason was his smile, a smile that inspired a group of men in Fairfax and in Charlotte to think and act beyond themselves, and a smile that made a little girl in Nebraska laugh and her community long for his and his team members' return.
In his own words, Jason once said of Push America, think about being humble, think about camaraderie, think about all the things that make you smile, think about all the things you thought you know about yourself. The Journey of Hope and Push America will change all of that. It will make you stronger than you've ever thought you could be. It will show you that the fulfillment gained by doing something so selfless for someone else is a feeling that cannot be matched.
Within Zeta Epsilon and the greater fraternity, that feeling, in presence and influence, lives on in the name of Jason Ramon Tirado.